Hey.
What are we here for today?
So we thought we'd do a Q&A, but what we've done is we've both written each other 5 questions
Hmm.
and we don't know what the questions are. So we're going to just take it in turns asking each other a question. They should be van life related. Or
Yeah,
like,
I think yeah, I'm pretty sure all mine are.
yeah,
But yeah,
they're pretty van life related. And then we've also got a couple of questions as well, just off Instagram as well. So we'll cover them at the end. And then down in the description, we'll put all of the questions that we're asking in case there's some that take your fancy more than others, and then you can just skip to what you're interested in.
but they're all very interesting.
They're probably very interesting, yeah.
Mm.
And as always, this is just like a one take thing, so we
Yeah, we
obviously.
don't rehearse this, so if it's terrible, that's literally why.
Do
Um,
you want to do one first?
okay.
And
What
then
are we gonna do if we both got the same questions?
it'll just be very exciting, won't it?
It'll be a very short video.
Oh, I need to get yours up. Okay, cool.
My first one.
Go for it.
Okay. It's a bit sort of half and half. I don't know. It says, right, I wrote, where would you like to go in the van that you haven't already been to? / what's sort of your dream van life destination?
I guess it depends on like if it's this van or vans in general. Because
Well, we're in this one,
yeah,
so
I know it's tricky, isn't
we
it?
could start with this one.
I'd really like to take the van to Iceland.
Well, we ain't going in this one, are we? Like,
Yeah, the problem with Iceland is obviously like to get the best experience, you really need a 4x4 because there's just so many roads that you're not allowed to take two-wheel drive vehicles on. And I know you're not allowed to wild camp there, but there's loads of camping setups. But I just think for like hiking and photography and just somewhere totally different, I just think Iceland would be really amazing. And I think doing it in the van would be a good experience. So,
So in another reality where we've got an entirely different van, you'd like to go to Iceland.
yeah, I think it would be Iceland, but probably in a different van.
And in this van?
We've talked about going up to like Norway and Lofoten a lot, and that's obviously a reality that probably will happen. We were thinking about doing it maybe next year. It might be the year after now, just because our plans have changed a little bit. But I think that would be really good. Like again, landscape will be totally different to anywhere we've travelled so far, and just lots of like amazing nature spots. So yeah, in this van, Norway; in a different van, Iceland.
Lovely. What are you doing? Are we doing all of mine first or
Should we take it
one and
turns?
one? Yeah.
Um,
Hit me.
um, my question then, the first one is, what is the worst thing about living in a van?
Oh. The rain. No, I don't know. This is why we sort of rehearse them because now I don't know. The worst part of living in a van. Yeah, I suppose actually, like, because the weather's really bad at the moment. It's been raining non-stop for what, 6 days, I think, and times like that sometimes are difficult because I don't mind a rainy day in the van. It can be, I find the van really cozy and I like it. But if it's days and days on end, there's not a lot of space in here. You can't, like in a house, I suppose you can sort of just move around a bit more, whereas here you're very sort of stuck and then you get sort of cabin fever, and then the dogs are wet and it just makes it a lot more faffy. Yeah, I don't really know really. Do you
Well, I
have
mean-
any? Do you know what actually?
Yeah.
I think that was a crap answer, wasn't it?
Before you ask it though, I think one thing we have learned, just because we'll throw some learnings in here, is that on the times when the weather's this bad, we actually prefer being in like small villages and towns to
Yeah.
being out in nature. So we love nature when the weather's good, but being in a little village or a town like here, we've gone and done laundry. There's a little, we went out for like some drinks. We've been out for dinner. We can nip out for like coffee, or so like sometimes that's probably when we prefer like the towns and villages the most, isn't it? When the weather's bad.
Yeah, and it's just like being in towns and stuff. It's like weirdly, it doesn't sound great, but it's easier with the dogs as well because they're just wet rather than they're not muddy and dirty and wet. Which if like we're out where we were parked before where we are now, where we were just kind of out in the woods, everything's a lot sort of messier. And yeah, we've got chores and things done, haven't we? I got a pair of shoes repaired. Going to go to the opticians to fix some glasses, and yeah, I think actually being in a town, yeah, I'd agree with you. But yeah, I think sometimes maybe when the weather's bad and you're trapped in the van is that what your question was? What's the hardest?
It was I think it was like what was your like the worst bit. So basically the weather. When the weather's not good, that was your
Yeah.
Succinct answer.
Yeah. And then I think sometimes, I suppose, if we go as well long periods where we don't see other people other than each other, I think sometimes I don't know if I get a little bit lonely, but sometimes it's nice to have someone else to talk to that's not you.
Or a dog.
Or a dog, basically, yeah. But it's sort of similar to the question that I had, actually,
Cool.
which mine was, what is the hardest or most challenging part of living in a van? But it's kind of same, isn't it?
I would say the hardest bit was when we first moved in and left the UK, and it was like really exciting, totally different type of travel. But we were traveling really quickly, and it was like mentally quite fatiguing, wasn't it? Like
Yeah, I really,
like
really struggled.
smashing pins on Google Maps and then finding places to park, and you feel like actually you spend more time like researching and finding places to park and go than you actually do just enjoying yourself. And our travel is totally changed in the last 6-7 months, I would say. Like we travel really slow now, and it's just so much more enjoyable for us.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I really struggled when we first came out to Europe. I think for a sort of a few different reasons. In general, I struggle with my mental health. That's a lifelong issue I've had. And at the time, I think I wasn't doing very well in that. And then everything was just, we were doing lots, weren't we? Like you had a break from work at the time. I wasn't working that much. And we were just like every day doing different things. We were driving around a lot. And, you know, and I think it's hard sometimes as well when, particularly with Instagram and stuff, where it's like you're doing all these amazing things and it all looks great. But it's actually, you can burn out quite quickly when you're just doing one thing after another, after another, after another. I do think part of that, in fact, I would say actually that's probably one of the hardest parts, I would say, of van life is the whole, well, it's very specific as to where you're from, but for people from the UK, it's the whole Schengen situation. I think that was probably the most stressful part. We got a visa, a Greek visa, so that's been able to sort of a workaround for us. But I think initially that was a big problem. That's why we had to move so much and feel like we were doing so much to make the most of the time that we had. Why are you looking at me?
Or are you just answering your own question now?
Well, no. Yeah. Well, no, because both questions are sort of similar. I know, but I told you, like, on the spot, I'm not very good at answering questions because I can't really think of anything. But yeah, I would say the Schengen thing initially and having to like move around quite a lot was the difficult part.
Yeah, like I see people posting online being like, oh, we're going to go away for 3 weeks and we're going to go to these 6 countries and we're going to do 3,000 miles. And I'm just like, that is like my idea of how.
Yeah,
like, I'd rather go to one country for 3 weeks rather than like tick box exercising, like travel stuff. Yeah. But that's just a learning from doing it, basically.
Yeah, and you know, I think some people I think will be fine doing it sort of multiple things at once. I think even if we'd not had the visa thing, I think we would have probably changed how we travel. I think we would, with the 3 months sort of Schengen thing, I think we probably would have just spent it in one country, wouldn't we, or maybe 2 countries, and just generally have to do it slower. Because yeah, I think it was a lot in the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was it's like it's your life. It's not like we're not doing it as a holiday. Like this is our entire lifestyle. So it's I think it's a bit different if you just want to go and do as much as you can in a short amount of time because you've got time off work or something. But like this
it's very dependent on how, like, why you're doing van life, how long you're doing it for. Like we're doing it indefinitely, so it's like normal life in a way. It's like, as in, it's not meant to be exciting. It's not, you're not doing exciting things all day, every day, in and out, are you?
Right. Shall I get another question for you? What has been your favourite experience or memory since moving into the van?
Oh no. Because there's favourite experience or memory. There's been quite a few. One thing I think always stands out is we went to that lake in Italy in the Dolomites.
Lake
Braise?
Was it?
Braise?
Well, we met Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've probably, that's not how it's pronounced at all.
Lago de Braise or something like that, I think
yeah.
it is, but yeah.
It was beautiful there. Like, we went in, when was it? November, December?
Yeah, it was like proper out of season, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was out of season, so there wasn't that many people. And I remember just going then, it was like in the morning or something. And the water of the lake was so still and the reflection was just perfect, wasn't it? And it was, I remember thinking, this is so incredibly beautiful. I was thinking it's one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen. And just thinking how sort of lucky I was to have done, to be able to see that. I would say that's probably one of my standout ones, other than seeing hot air balloons in Cappadocia in Turkey. That's going to be yours, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we spent 6 weeks pretty much in like the region of Cappadocia, so not in like Graham itself necessarily, but I loved Cappadocia. Like it was, the whole place was just so different to anywhere else we'd travelled to, and if you kind of like people watching, like, because you're basically like living on the spots that everyone comes to at like 5, 6 in the morning to do photo shoots, and like driving the cars and the hot air balloons. And I'd get up every morning for like weeks on end before work and just go out and like take photos and just sit with a coffee and just watch. It's just like, it's so chaotic. And then
it's the funny, I think it's funny,
like seeing like a girl getting hoisted onto a crane on a swing to get like
that.
swing photo. Oh, it's just, yeah. But I loved it. I really loved it. And then the people were really nice there, and we like used the same cafe loads of times. I think I looked at our bank statement when we left, and we'd hit the same cafe like 20 times or something. But then we became really friendly with the owners, and it was just like a really nice experience.
Yeah.
Like, just somewhere to call home for that time was really good.
I just remembered when you said about people doing photo shoots. Do you remember that woman who was in a wedding dress and then asked to get in our van to get changed?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what was happening, but because I was over, I don't know, taking pictures or looking at something, and I turned around and you were sort of speaking to them, and then before I knew it, she was climbing inside our van, wasn't she?
Yeah, so they were doing like a wedding shoot, and she was just wanted to like get out of her wedding dress. So yeah, she
get
just
changed. Just random things.
So
like
like
that.
a couple of them just climbed inside the van. But this is what I love. And then we had lots of people who were there on holiday were asking about the van, and like just people, that couple from Malaysia. Remember the brother and sister?
Oh yeah.
And they were like just super interested in the van and like traveling and the culture. But it was a really good way to like meet different people. So
yeah, it was.
I really liked it there.
I got a question. It's my turn.
Yeah, your turn.
Do you wish you'd done van life sooner?
I do and I don't. Like, if we were like in the same place in our lives earlier and pre-Brexit and pre-Schengen and had like the golden years of doing it, like, I don't know, you think people that were doing it sort of 5, 6, 7 years ago or 10 years ago, it would have been so different. Like, you wouldn't necessarily have had like all the apps and all, like, you know, like finding spots would have been more on you because it wasn't so well shared online. But the travel, being able to just travel indefinitely in Europe without obviously the restrictions now would have been super nice. But at the same time, we had like a totally different life before, so we've had the stability in jobs previously in our life. We didn't just jump into the van, did we? Like, we lived in South Wales for 6 years, and we had like a really nice house, and we were like really happy there and just using the van at weekends. But
well, I think a large part of it is that we're able to do it now and be in, you know, the jobs that we have and the financial position that we are in because of all the choices and decisions in life that we've had before doing it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So I think, yeah, maybe if we'd done it, there's a lot of reasons I think it'd be nice to have done it sooner, but whether we would have been able to, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I regret.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing.
All the things that we've done prior to doing the van life.
Like, if we were doing it sooner, we wouldn't be like in this van basically. Like, we wouldn't have been able to afford a new van and like commission to build and travel in the way we do now. We probably wouldn't have been as qualified for like the jobs we have. So no, I'm like really content in that we're doing it now, and it is what it is, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Oh yeah. God, I wasn't prepared for that. Would you do van life solo?
Oh.
I'm not implying anything. How long have we been together?
Too long. 17 years.
Okay.
So it's a weird thing to think about because I've spent the majority of my life with you. I've spent more of it with you than without. So it's a bit of a weird thing to think of it in that aspect. I'd like to think yes.
You think you would?
I would like to.
Yeah.
Whether I'd be able to. It's a bit of a difficult question to answer because I think there's a lot of different factors to it.
Factoids.
Factoids. To it for me, it depends on. I don't know if for some reason, I don't know. It's hard to say because I'm not great at doing things on my own. I'm quite reliant on you from multitude of different reasons. So I think the thought of kind of doing that would be quite terrifying, I think, for me. I think I would like to do it. I have a huge amount of respect for anybody that does it on their own because I do think it's probably a lot harder. I think, particularly when you're traveling as well to countries that you've never been to before, having someone else with you that you can kind of, sort of fall back on, or they give you kind of more confidence that you don't maybe have if you're doing it on your own. So I think I really admire people that do it on their own, and I think I would like to think that I would. I'd like to try and give it a go, but how successful I'd be at it, I don't really know. Do you do it on your own? I think you would.
I think I would, but I wouldn't do it like how we do now. I think I would just chase like communities of people based around like the sports that I like. So I really like kite surfing or paragliding, or like this stuff that I like to do. I'd probably just do it, but living specifically, like I'd go to a kite surfing spot, because this is what happened in Greece a few times. And I would just go to a kite surfing spot, and then within like a couple of days you're making friends and like talking with people, and you've got people to hang out with, and like lots of common interests. And then if you've got people living in vans who also do the sports you like, I think it's a really easy way to find a sense of community without being like grounded in one place.
Yeah, I think that's what I actually, thinking about it, I don't necessarily do those sports, but I think I would search out other solo van lifers maybe, or other people that I could sort of tag along with or meet up, and every now and then I think I'd probably do it in a similar way.
Also just sharing, like I always like doing things with, like obviously we do a lot together or with other people, because then it's like shared experiences. I think whenever I'm just doing something, sometimes you're doing something and you just like, it's nice to have someone to share it with, isn't it? And that's part of the experience.
Yeah, like the we see so much, we visit so many different places and get to experience really great things, and I think most people would agree that actually when you're doing those kinds of things, it's nice to share it with somebody, whether it's your partner, whether it's a friend, whether it's just somebody that you just bumped into along the way. I think it's just nice to have a shared experience, isn't it, really?
Cool.
Is it my
I think it's
questions?
yeah,
right.
your turn.
How often do you shower?
I showered about 20 minutes ago.
It went 20 minutes ago, but yeah, we did have showered this morning.
But yeah, we showered this morning.
I don't know why I was so specific on that then.
It varies a lot, doesn't it? Like we've just rebuilt our shower, and since rebuilding the shower, we like the indoor shower more. We've just started
use it a lot more.
We're using it way more suddenly than we did. It really depends on the climate and where we are.
And access to water and things, doesn't it?
We lived at this lake, Savins-le-Lac, in the south of France for literally a month over summer, and technically weren't really like showering, but we were going in like the freshwater lake. Like,
I think soap touched my body more than it did yours.
Yeah, probably. But like when you're going in the water like 3-4 times a day and stuff, I guess it's different. And when we were in Greece, there was some of the spots where you'd like kite surf or swim had freshwater showers.
Yeah.
And so might not be like shampooing yourself, but like you're still hitting fresh water quite often.
Yeah.
So I think it varies a lot, doesn't it? But
it does, yeah. It varies, like, what outdoor natural water you're near, whether we're able to refill the tank. But because where were we? We were somewhere, but I think somewhere when we were in France, that little village that we stayed at, and we had access to water, so we showered like every few days. So sometimes it has been longer than that, isn't it?
Yeah, easily, like it could be like once a week or something, depending on where we are and what we're doing. Like we're in a little town in Portugal at the moment, and we've managed to park close enough to a tap that we can literally fill the van up without moving it. So we just took like really long showers today, because that's a bit of a luxury when you're living in a van. Like knowing that you can get fresh water, that's when we tend to like have the most enjoyable showers, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I think there's a lot of people though that have vans that don't have showers in. I personally couldn't do it. I like having our shower whether we're using it a lot or not a lot, but a lot of people don't, do they? Find other ways.
Yeah, I don't really understand. Like, I mean, just from like a separate space in the toilet and drying everything, I don't like. We could never not have it, could we?
No, no.
Cool. Ready for
Oh,
a new one?
it's my turn, isn't it? Just talking my way through all of them now.
Do you have any regrets about moving into the van?
Oh, no. No, I don't.
Look at you, just so
Sorry.
casual.
No, I'm really because I think I need to prop the pillows up a bit more, right? My back hurts because I'm old. That's why I just keep moving, and I'm just like,
Wait.
no, I don't think I do. I had a huge amount of anxiety about moving into the van. I think when we agreed to sell our house, the whole way through that process, I could have backed out at any given moment, I think. And particularly, I would say the first year of living in the van, I think I did struggle quite a lot because it's just a huge adjustment to a different sort of way of life. So there's been a lot of ups and downs for me, but I think I'm at a place now where I'm quite settled in it. But I think despite all kind of, you know, the times that I've struggled, I don't think I regret it at all, because we've just got so much out of it. And I think also the way of life that it is, the, you know, not kind of the things that you know you have in sort of normal sort of everyday life, you know, the stresses and things like that you don't have. We live with so much less. We are less wasteful. We're out of the van and in nature and stuff a lot more. I think there's so many aspects to it that make it a more enjoyable and more sort of calmer and stress-free way of living life that I think has actually been quite beneficial, I think, for me, and that's why I'd say both of us really. But no, I don't think there is really any regrets that I have about doing it at all. Do you have any regrets?
No, not at all. I really like it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine going. It's easier when you live a certain life and you're like in a routine, and like we had like really good years previous to living in the van and had like really nice life in other places and doing different things. But looking back on it now, not that it detracts from that, but it doesn't make as much sense to us actually when you look at how much you have to work and how much money you need just to like survive, basically, like with the house, like mortgages and council tax and bills. And like if we talk about it sometimes now, like if we went back to a house now, or we'd have to like ramp our jobs up and scale and work more hours to make more money just so we could live in a house. Like we wouldn't achieve anything in life. We'd just
we'd have to work and do so much more to basically just to essentially sort of have less in a way, because like it would cost so much money, I think, to go back to our old life that you'd basically just be working just to try and afford, you know, a basic standard of living really, and that's not for us anymore. I also think as well that the thing for me, and I find it's quite weird, up into doing van life, and I've never questioned this, right, is you live in when you live in a house, you live in the same place, don't you, for potentially like years and years on end. And to me that seems really alien now, like the fact that you just live in the same house in the same town, and you might go odd trips or on a holiday here, but pretty much every day of your life for years on end you're just stuck in sort of, not stuck, but you're just in one place. And that seems like a weird concept. I think I couldn't I think I'd get itchy feet. I don't think I could just settle down in one place and not leave really, I think. But my question, I feel like we're getting to the
I think we've got one more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you wish we would meet more people on the road or travel with other people more?
Bit of a mix. So we obviously, like last year, we travelled with people quite a lot. So we travelled. How long did we travel with Phil for? Like on and off winter throughout
5 months, maybe 6 months, maybe.
Yeah. So we travelled on and off with Phil last year for quite a chunk of time, which was really nice.
That's no plan, just a van, if you want to look him up.
Yeah.
Just in case you're just randomly mentioning a Phil.
Yeah, just a random guy. But it was really nice, and it was like someone else to do different experiences with and different conversation, and like it is just a bit of a different vibe. And then we met Chloe and Taylor in Greece, and then ended up travelling on and off with them for maybe 2.5-3 months across Greece and Turkey, and that was really nice. It was just, again, like different people, different dynamics, but then we've done quite a long stint by ourselves, and I'm kind of like quite happy either or. Sometimes I think it's easier traveling because we have our own restraints in terms of like we work 3 days a week, we want to travel at a certain pace. So selfishly, it's easier, isn't it? Like with less people to organise.
Yeah, I
It's
think
like, oh, we
it's
want to do
depending
this,
on
yeah.
who you're traveling with and how they're doing it in a
Yeah.
way, isn't it?
But then it's really nice, like when quite often at spots that are busy, we'll like talk to people, and we've had like dinner with people and wine with people, and we've bumped into the same people in different countries, and like that's
Yeah.
really nice. And then messaging people on Instagram and vice versa, and people go, oh, we're in the area, and then you meet up, and like it's really nice doing a mix, I think. And again, like the sport bit, which I sort of covered earlier, just flew back to the UK for a couple of weeks in the summer to see some family, and I just went to some kite surfing spots in Greece, and just there was loads of people like living in vans and kiting, and like that was just really nice as well. So yeah, I'm kind of happy with both. I think sometimes it's nice to just have your own space and your own. Like I like our little.
Yeah, I think a huge part of it is that it's not necessarily for everybody, but we like each other's company, don't we?
We do.
We do. We have always been kind of just one of those couples that spends nearly all our time together and sort of live in each other's pockets. Like that's been that way for nearly our entire relationship. So I think we don't really get tired of being around each other, do we, my love?
No, like
so I think we can go weeks and weeks and weeks with it just being the two of us, and I think we don't really struggle or have any kind of problems with that. But I think it is nice to add other people into the mix. I think every now and then.
I guess the other thing to comment is that obviously you flew back to the UK. Is it twice or once this year? Last year?
Once.
Just
Went in June, didn't I?
Yeah.
When we went back in September, we went together.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought you went twice, but you obviously didn't. No, it is once.
Just once.
Obviously you went back to the UK for a couple of weeks, and then my parents flew out to Turkey and had a holiday and met us in Turkey, and then a couple of our friends, Tom and Becky, flew out from Hereford and met us in Greece for a week, and then we met my sister and your sister in France. So like we've also seen people out on the road as well, like family, and people have come out and had like holidays. Rory,
It's okay, sweet pea. Don't worry.
no babes, no. So yeah, there's that as well, which is really nice. Instead of like obviously when you're not seeing people, but then people come out and then you get to kind of share a little bit of your lifestyle with other people. So that's quite nice. But yeah, I think that's it probably for that one.
Yeah.
For the last one.
That was my last one. Do you have another one for me?
Similar to like question one, I think. If you could take the van anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's sort of two. The one that more likely that we're going to do would be Scandinavia. I would really love to take it to Scandinavia and do sort of Sweden, Norway, like the Lofoten Islands and stuff, because I think anything that we've seen of people doing that in videos and stuff, it just looks epic and it just looks really, really good. So I think that's very much sort of at the top of my list.
Yeah.
The other thing would be Canada. Maybe less likely because there's a huge amount more involved in doing that. But yeah, I'd love to kind of tour Canada, really. I think would be a pretty cool thing to do. Looks like a really beautiful country. So I think that's probably those two places, I think.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Muffins, do you want to come back up?
Come here, sweet pea.
Come on. Just lay down.
Oh, don't worry, Jean.
Cool.
Right, questions that people asked us.
Yeah, I think we just had like a couple from Instagram as well we can put on the end, so I'll just see what they were.
I don't think I've seen these.
One is from Eric, which is one of Jess's cousins out in America.
Oh.
How have you put up with Jess for this long? I believe a humanitarian award is in order.
I'm going to bear some mind, Eric. Payback will be coming.
And then one from Life.
You didn't answer the question. How have you put up with me for so long?
Just every day's a battle, isn't it? One day at a time.
I think it's faff. I think it's just too much faff for you to. It's been so long that you've been with me. I think the prospect of having to leave me and start again, I think it's just too much faff for you, and you can't be bothered.
No, we're a good little family, really, aren't we, lady?
Is it your undying love for me? Is that why you're with me?
My undying love, yeah. And for you, babes. Cool. And we got one from Life of John Boy, which is, I think we've covered now. If you could pick one more country to explore in the van, which one and why? So I think I think ultimately we've both answered the question, and Norway has come up in both. So
What is exciting is what we're about to do, our plans for Winters, which is to go take the van to the Canary Islands. I think we're going to do about sort of 6 different islands, and I think that's something that we've not done before, or that we've come across many other people that have done before. So like that's kind of a new place that we're going to, that I think we're both really looking forward to exploring. If anyone has taken their van over there and explored them all, do get in touch, because we are still looking for like more information on doing van life over there. So if you have done it, do let us know.
cool, nice. And then we've got one from Amber, which is where would you recommend for a great park up experience in Europe? I mean, I would say Greece.
Oh yeah, Greece.
I think Greece in the van is like the easiest and the best, most relaxed place
Yeah.
we've been anywhere in Europe, in terms of like paradisey beach locations and mountains and just general.
They're
like,
really relaxed over there in terms
Yeah.
of park ups. I think that's the country where we've been literally parked on a beach or within sort of meters of the sea. I don't think for beaches you can sort of beat Greece in a lot of ways, because like the water's so clear and they're just beautiful, really sort of tranquil locations, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think resources as well for Greece is really good, because they obviously have big communal and shed bins everywhere, so like rubbish is really easy, and they have public taps everywhere. So like there might be like taps on beaches or in little villages, or literally just like on the roadside. So getting fresh water and getting water from like petrol stations and stuff. Like Greece is just super. I think it's been the least. I think Greece and Turkey out of anywhere have been the best 2 countries for van life in terms
Yeah.
of just like ease.
Yeah, I would say Greece. I would say would be Greece and Turkey, probably best van life park ups.
Cool. And the last one is from Vanborn Adventurers, and it's what is the size of your shower, and is it big enough, or would you prefer it larger?
Dramatic. I've no idea what size our shower is. If I'm
I
honest.
think it's about like 85 by 85 wall to wall, but I think the floor is, so the shower comes straight down and then it's got a lip at the bottom where the tray used to be, and then it comes in. I think from when we redid the shower floor recently, the inside dimensions of the actual usable floor space is like 65 to 70 centimeters squared. Size wise, I think it's perfect. It's kind of one of those things you want to be as small as possible in the van to take up as least space while still being practical. So we've got the Nature's Head toilet in there and space to obviously like get in, use the toilet, shut the door. The toilet comes out when we shower, but ultimately it's like the perfect size, I think, isn't it? I don't think we'd make it any bigger.
I think it'd be nice to have it bigger so that we didn't have to take the toilet out, because then it's just less faff. But that's not really possible to do in our van without sacrificing something else, and there's not really anything that we would want to sacrifice for that. Jean, can we just not, please? It's literally a few more minutes. So no, actually, yeah, I would say the shower as it is good enough. I don't think being in there it feels tiny or cramped. It's like enough space. So no, I don't think we would make it any bigger. Not in this van anyway.
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
fair
we would.
point. If we had like a bigger van that was above 3.5 ton and it was longer, then yeah, we would make the shower longer, as you mentioned, so we could keep the toilet in when we shower. But we wouldn't want to sacrifice anything else in our layout to extend it in this build. So hopefully that was of some use for you.
Yeah, that's about it. I think that's all on the questions. Any other questions?
No, that's it. We're all questioned out for today.
There we go. But if you've got any other questions, by all means, pop them in the comments.
Yeah, pop them in the comments, or head over to our Instagram and drop us a DM on there. Yeah, it's interesting because it like to see our questions were like, some were quite similar, but some were obviously quite different.
Yeah, I think so, and sort of similar and slightly different answers, really.
Yeah. Thanks
Well,
for
there you
tuning
go.
in. Have you got this far?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for staying with it. Appreciate it.
Cool. See you in the next one.